Kyle, AA0Z here. As you probably have seen in the prior video, I recently purchased a Mini 2, a DJI Mini 2, and had a nice day here in December. The temperature got into the 50s with a little bit of wind, and I decided to take the drone out for its first flight. Went to the local park and had a good time. Wanted to capture my first impressions here and wanted to share them with you. So stick around. So playing in the background is some footage that I recorded. I didn't record a lot of footage because I was trying to concentrate on flying, getting used to the controls, taking off, landing, and basically not crashing my first time out. It was a nice day. But after a while, I got a little cold as the wind kicked up and the wind chill started to drop. So off to the good stuff that I thought on my first impressions. First thing, this thing is tiny. You could easily throw this in your backpack. You could probably put this in your back pocket or your front pocket if you really wanted to. It is very portable and very lightweight. That's what I love about this, that I can put this in my backpack and take it out somewhere and get a couple of more shots on where I'm operating. And I'm going to tie this into ham radio on, this is going to be a supplement to a camera, a static camera that I have. But the bad part is you have to take the remote out, and that is relatively heavy. And then you also need probably a battery, your battery bank, if you're going to do any extensive flying. So there are some other things that you have to grab to get this thing up in the air. But if you just want to take it out in a park and fly it, it is very compact and very, very portable. The one thing I do like that they included are these prop guards and straps, so therefore it goes around the back and then it's here on the front, and it keeps the props here from moving and either breaking off or getting damaged whenever it's in your bag. So you could easily get a small sack for this thing and put it in there, and it would be totally fine and protective with these prop guards on it. I do recommend you get the Fly More combo. With the Fly More combo, you get the extra battery packs. You get a bunch of propellers that I didn't show in my unboxing, and a couple of remote control sticks if you lose those, because those are situated in the bottom of the controller here. And you get a small screwdriver. And that, I think, is all you get with the Fly More combo. Oh, and the case. You get that with the Fly More combo. So I would suggest for the extra, I think it's $150 that you get the Fly More combo. You get much more added features. Not features on the drone, but you get a lot more stuff if you bought the Fly More combo than if you bought all that stuff outright at cost. I'd also sign up for the DJI Care. It is $50 a year, and I believe you get 2 replacements. Each replacement, I think, is $50. You have to send the drone back. So if you drowned it in a river or crash it on a mountain and you can't get to it, I don't think that they're going to replace it, but they give you 2 replacements and specialty care or specialty support and free 2-day shipping, but you have to, again, give them your broken drone. So I think for $50, that is a good deal, especially if I crash this thing and, it's a $400 drone and I have to pay $50 and, $20 shipping to get it replaced. I think it's more than worth it for the $50. So let's talk about the ease of flying. So, the takeoff and the landing are extremely easy. Once you have your DJI app plugged into your controller and you have it connected to your drone, it is basically a one-touch button on the left-hand side that says takeoff. You hit that, and it asks you if you want to take off, and you press and hold the takeoff button, and it comes up and hovers at about 5.5, 6 feet, and just sits there until you do something with the controls. So taking off is very easy. Landing is the same thing. You get within 4 or 5 feet of the ground, you hover, you hit the button that says land. It asks you if you want to land, and the area is clear. You hit the button, and it descends down to the grass and turns off. So it's very easy to take off and land. I was a little confused on how you start the engines or how you actually get the propellers going. And if you bring the sticks down, it starts the propellers at, half speed, and then whenever you take off, it actually ramps up the propellers and takes off. So it was very easy to figure out the first couple of times on how to take off and land, and I practiced that a couple of times. I flew all of my stuff in normal mode. There are 3 modes. There's Cine mode, which is very slow, normal, and sport mode. And they say to get out to the location that you want to shoot at, you use sport mode, and then you use Cine mode to get those really cinematic shots. I was just in normal mode, and I was very impressed on how easy it was to fly and how quick the drone responded to me stopping and moving right, moving left, turning around, going up and down. I mean, it was very responsive. I thought that it was going to be laggy, and this thing almost stops on a dime. Whenever you're going full blast and you hit the back to really stop like you're going to hit something, I bet you it probably stops within a foot or a foot and a half. It is just unbelievable how easy this thing is to fly. And it's like playing a video game. Like once it gets to the point where you can't really see it anymore, you have to look at your phone to figure out where it's at and which way you're pointing. And it's like a video game, right? But it is a video game that you're playing with a $500 drone. And it's a little unnerving whenever you get to a point where you can't see or hear the drone anymore, and you're like, where is it? You can see it on the map, and you can see what it's looking at because it's beaming back the picture that it's seeing, but you can't hear it, you can't see it, and it's a little unnerving to say, or to think, it's up there, but I really... I'm relying on the signal that it's coming, that it's shooting back to me for me to go and grab it. If it would happen to just fall out of the sky for some reason, I would probably have some. Well, there's a Find Your Drone app or something in the app that you can click on it, and it will beep and give you the last coordinates. But it is a little unnerving on. Once it gets out of sight and out of mind and out of hearing, that it is somewhere that you're going to have to go hike to go find it. One of the things that I liked about the controller is it charges your phone whenever, well, it's an option, but it charges your phone whenever the controller is on. So, if you have a phone that dies easily, you can turn that on, and it will charge your phone, which is great. And then the battery bank here, these charge rather quickly. I had all of these depleted here, and I think it charged within an hour and a half on this little charger here. So I was really impressed on how quickly these batteries recharged. And I believe what happens is it goes through and has some smarts, and it charges the one that is closest to 100% first, so it gets you back up and flying, and then then it automatically charges the second least, and then the third least. And it just gets you back up and flying faster. So I think that's pretty cool. And yeah, I got about, with the batteries, I got about 20 to 25 minutes of flying. I think DJI advertises 30 or 31. But there was some wind, and I was doing some, going up and down and all around, and stopping hard and just getting used to the controls. So I think probably 25 minutes is realistic on a battery before it decides that it has had enough. It will tell you that the battery is low and it's going to land. I got it down to about 8%, 9%, and it said critical, battery low, I'm going to land right here. So I brought it back over to my area and landed it on the ground with no issues. But it will definitely tell you, or it will do a manual land if the battery gets too low. So let's talk about the camera. I don't have a lot of experience with photography or 4K or color adjustment, but I thought that the picture was great. You're seeing the picture here. That picture is with no adjustment. It is directly straight out of the camera, and that is only 1080p. I didn't shoot in 2.4 or 2.7, 2.7 or 4K. I just don't have the need right now to shoot. Plus, I don't have a computer that can render something, a video file that large. So I decided to just shoot in 1080p. I thought it looked great. The signal that it was beaming back to your phone looked awesome. And also, the phone caches a certain amount of, I think I set it up for 2 gigabytes of video. So my phone, it's got 2 gig of video on it. I guess if you lose it or the SD card becomes corrupt, you have some footage left on your phone. But the shots are smooth. The gimbal looked great. There's some issues on YouTube that show the gimbal being out of whack, and I didn't have that. I was very impressed on how smooth and how good the video looked. Then also, there's a lot of YouTube videos out there on how to get started. I think I've probably watched 40 hours of videos on the Mini 2. So if you have any questions, just watch some YouTube videos on getting started. There's some great videos. So some things that I need to work on that I either had trouble with or didn't expect were, just basic maneuvers. There's a video, Philip Scaba, I believe is his name, and he was talking about the different cinematic shots that he tries to get. And so I'm going to work on some maneuvers to, fly as you bring the gimbal down. Also, the right and left orientation while you're looking at the drone versus while the drone is looking away from you. I've got those mixed up a couple of times. Obviously, whenever it's looking towards you and it's coming towards you, right and left are opposite on the sticks versus if it's going away from you. Another thing that I had a little bit of issue with is the height above the ground versus the obstacles. So I wanted to fly over this tree, and the tree was a small tree. It was probably 40 feet off the ground, but I was at about 35 feet, and I thought, I could clear this. And once I got closer, I figured out I was not even close to being high enough to clear it, so I had to bring the drone up. So that is one thing that was a little confusing on, I've got, I'm totally high enough off the ground, but come to find out I wasn't. Also, the depth perception on how close you are to something versus actuality. There were a lot of times where I thought that I was closer than I thought due to the camera, and whenever I walked over, I was quite 10 feet, 20 feet away. So that camera, the depth perception with the camera and what you're looking at on your phone are two totally different things. So I would not trust that I'm not going to trust it until I get a lot more experience. And then also controlling the gimbal while flying. You can adjust the gimbal up and down, and again, that gives you that more cinematic shot. and something that I just have to work on, you know, as you're going up. You might want to shoot or point the gimbal down to get a cool looking shot. So got to work on that for the next time and the other times that I go out flying. All right, things that I didn't expect or probably could be improved, or if you have any questions on, no, that's normal, stick them down in the comments. So I really wasn't impressed with the battery life just literally sitting on the ground. Whenever I put in a new battery, within a half a minute, it was at 98% or 97%. So I wasn't real impressed with the battery. I've seen some other YouTube videos that, you know, people take off and they're in the air and they're at 120, 150 feet and it's still at 100%. So I don't know if it's just the battery that I used, but yeah, I really wasn't impressed with the battery life. Another thing that I wish that they included was a second transformer here, so you could, or at least one with 2 ports on it. This only has 1 port, so you can only charge one thing at a time. Either you can charge the battery bank or you can recharge your controller. They should have included one with 2 on here, and you could plug one into, or high-speed charger, you could plug one into your controller and one into the battery bank and charge 2 things at once. So just a little gripe there. Also, I noticed that hey, you're a first-time drone flyer or purchaser, and here are some quick tips and some videos to get you started. I didn't see any of that. Maybe I hit the wrong button on my phone, but there were really no instructions on how this thing worked. I wish that there was some basic videos that DJI included, or maybe even just an insert that said, hey, go to this website or go to this YouTube channel and it will show you some basic tips and tricks. So I think that they've got a little bit of improvement to do for first-time drone users on getting them up to speed on the application, and then also get you flying quicker. I also noticed that in the Android app, so I have an Android phone, I have a Google Pixel 3A, I believe, and there are some things that don't work in this app, but they work on the Apple app. I think one of them is the function button. My function button only has one function, and it's to recenter the gimbal. I think on the Apple app, it's got, you know, you can set that function button for a bunch of things. So I saw that was an issue. And I think that there were some other settings here that you couldn't change in the Android app, but I think you could change in the Apple app. So I hope that there's an update coming soon from DJI that allows you to change those settings in the Android app. But as far as getting connected, I had no problem getting connected. I was hopeful that that was going to be the case, and I wasn't going to have application issues, because if you go to the DJI store and take a look at the app rating, you see all these comments of people, you know, plugging in their application or plugging in their phone, launching the application, and the application doesn't talk to the controller doesn't talk to the drone. So I was afraid that was going to happen, but I didn't have any of that, and it seems to connect every single time. So that is good. So I'm not going to do a lot of drone videos. I just wanted to capture my first impressions on the Mini 2. I think I'm going to do one more drone video on things that I learned, things that you probably want to do after you fly for the first time, little tips and tricks that I jotted down. So thanks for watching, and 73.